Hello, so I am back, and I guess this is going to start part two. So, if you didn't see, I have part one where I was undoing my faux locks that I had in before, and I was doing a little bit of a chit chat. So, I'm going to continue that again. But now the faux locks are finally out. I managed to take the rest of them out. It took me a couple hours because I wasn't being serious, and like obviously I was shooting in between. So, yeah, but now I think I've afforded myself some time at the gym. I just really want to run. Like usually running is like my thing to like not even just de-stress, but like just if I want to enjoy myself, I'll like kind of go for a run. It doesn't have to be outside, it doesn't have to be on the treadmill, but sometimes I'm just like, oh, I'll just go on the treadmill because I don't feel like getting ready to go outside. So yeah, I'll go and do that for a little bit and then I'll come back and we can continue our chat about me going for, like the transition from being a registered nurse to being a medical school student. And yeah, I'll also like obviously show you how I'm doing my hair. I haven't completely still figured out. I'm just like I haven't locked in on what I want to do with my hair. But yeah, you'll see how that process goes as well. So yeah, so I will see you guys later. All right, so I am back from the gym. I am ready to rock and roll. I feel energized again. Honestly, I needed it. Sometimes I do feel tired, and I'm just like, when I go to the gym, I feel awake again. So now I have enough energy for at least another 3 hours, so I can get like quite a bit of hair done. I have a feeling that I'm not gonna finish. Obviously, like I'm just getting started, and it's like already around like 8:30, so I'm not gonna finish. But at first I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna like blow dry, like blow out my hair. But honestly, I'm just gonna work with it like in this state. That's what I did the first time as well, just because I don't think I'm that concerned about the lines being straight and all that. Like, like I kind of just like, especially for the back, I just kind of like literally pick out whatever hair I can grip and then just get started there. So I already showed you the hair that I'll be using, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut that. But yeah, I'll answer another question before I get back to my hair. I was trying to, oh, I just thought of it, then I forgot already. My goodness, my memory. Yeah, okay. So I guess people would be curious about how I'm actually doing in school. Like, what has that transition been like? Like, actually being in school. And so I talked a little bit about this on in my video of like how to stay positive in negative temperatures. And I talked a little bit about like my fear of going back to school um, in terms of like the change in how things are done, just like because everything is like everything is on the computer now. So like I was just kind of scared about that adjustment of having to like do things with a system that I'm just not familiar with. But like I knew that wasn't going to be a huge deal. Like, yes, I'm older, but I'm not like I didn't grow up in like the Stone Age. Like I do, I know how to use a computer. I know how to use the internet. I don't know why I was making such a big deal about it, but like I was genuinely scared, like to think that like oh like we're gonna like submit assignments a certain way. Like there's gonna be lectures that are purely online. I'm just like, what is this? I don't want to do like online lectures. And now I prefer to watch things back. So it's funny how that works. Um, but overall, like the transition was really seamless. Like maybe in the very first week, I was a little bit like confused about how everything works, but I think that was everybody. It wasn't just like because I hadn't gone to school for a little bit or whatever. It was more so like getting adjusted to med school itself. Now, in terms of being a nurse in med school, I know that like, and I still get questions about this, and sometimes I think about it too. Like, there's questions about like, do you find it easier than the other students find it, like in terms of certain areas that maybe I've seen before? And yes and no. So clinically, like something like clin skills, if it's something, of course, that I've done as a nurse, I found that quite easy. But sometimes it was like a double-edged sword, just because, like, if you have driven for a long time, we all know like that knowledge becomes like tacit. Like you don't think about what you're doing, you just do it, and you along the way you pick up a lot of mistakes. And but like you like because nobody corrects those mistakes, you just always do them because maybe it helps you to do things faster, or you know what I mean? So that was kind of something that I struggled with, like going back and trying to remember exactly why I was doing everything that I did. even if I had experience doing them. And so I had to kind of just like clear my mind of what I had already done and relearn it with everybody else just so that I wasn't doing it in an incorrect way that I had started to do it just to like save time or whatever. Just because in the real clinical setting, like sometimes you do things in a certain way to save time, right? So, um, but yeah, so that's my experience with in terms of like the clinical like clin skills. I can't even say like the clinical setting because we've more so like even when we go to the hospital, we're in a classroom. We're not necessarily always dealing directly with patients. Um, and then in terms of like the like in class material, yes, again, I've seen some of the material, but not always to like the depth that we're studying it, and not always all of the things. Like for instance, there are things that you learn as a med student that you're not expected to do as a nurse, and I would say mainly something like diagnosing or reading images, being really familiar with like the pharmacokinetics of a medication. Like we did learn some of that, like pharmacodynamics and kinetics, but you're not the one who is prescribing that medication, so we don't learn it to the same extent. So like I knew what certain medications were, and if I really was familiar with it, to be honest, it was more so because I worked on a unit that had that medication really on like frequently, because I worked on the CVICU, the cardiovascular intensive care unit. I was familiar with certain medications and like what they did, and I was like really comfortable with that because we use them often. But I might not necessarily be as familiar with medications that maybe were like is specific for urology, or I don't know, but like just giving that as an example, like another unit that I didn't work on all the time, I wouldn't have been as familiar. So I would say that there's definitely still a huge learning curve, and something that like other students may have a bit more of an advantage to as well. Like maybe they studied certain areas in like their research a bit more than I have. I like, for instance, something that like is really foreign for me is anything that has to do with oncology. Just because I didn't work in that area, or like I wasn't that familiar with it. I shouldn't say I didn't work in it because I guess one of my units was partly oncology, but I didn't like we didn't really talk about the patho of it, like the in terms of like the histology, like all that kind of stuff. Really different for me. Sorry if I'm getting like really like in detail about this. So this might be more specific to people who again are going to be interested in medicine and they understand what I'm saying. But histology is basically like how do the cells look like underneath a microscope? This is not something that I would be doing as a nurse, right? If anything, I had this knowledge from like when I did my first undergrad, and that helped me out a little bit, or has helped me out a little bit. But yeah, all of these kind of things, they're new to me. Um, Imaging, like looking at a CT or like chest X-ray generally, like I would see it, but it wasn't something that was included in our nursing training. Just over time, like being on the unit, you would have picked it up. Like this is a good X-ray versus a bad one, but otherwise you can't really identify everything that's on that X-ray or everything that's in an MRI, like and all that. So I would say there's still going to be a huge learning curve, but you'll feel comfortable with the familiarity. So I would say that would be a nice plus for anybody that's going into medicine from nursing. So yeah, I will come back with another answer or like to a question, and I would have done some of my hair. So even though I did want this to be like mostly a chit chat, I also wanted it to be in part like a tutorial. I don't even know if the light is bright enough, but I'm so sorry. Hopefully you can still see what I'm doing. So here I have my hair. So I just ripped off a piece of the hair from this. So this is about the size that I'm going for the braids. So, and this is what I have so far, if you can see. So that's what I have so far. And then I'll show you like how it is that I put this on, just because I think in general, like especially like anybody who just doesn't do their hair themselves, like do braids or whatever for themselves, they're kind of like, how do you even see the back of your head? To be honest, before this, I would just guesstimate the lines, like I'd kind of just feel for it. But I did get this mirror, I think maybe like 2 years ago, and I don't even always use it. Like for the last time I did my hair, I just kind of like picked at parts of my hair, but I'll show you how I can see the back of my head. So I'm gonna like part it and I'll show you, but I'll probably have to speed this up so it's not so boring. Actually, let me do it on this side. Now that I have to actually do it, I'm like not able to part it properly. So funny. Okay. Do I like that size? Yeah, that's okay. So yeah, I've attached it, like I parted it, and now I'm just braiding it down, braiding down the base. Yeah, it's not too hard at all. This hair is a lot easier to use than the last time I did my hair, so it's pretty, like it's going by pretty quickly. And then I'm just gonna do a little bit of a knot, tie it off, because I'm not gonna be doing this as like my final style. I do prefer full locks, so I'm gonna go back and like, just like you saw in one of my videos, like how I wrap the hair around, like from the root going down, that's kind of what I'll do over these. This is kind of like the base of that. So yeah, that's how I attach them, and I'll come back and answer another question. Hi, so I'm back again. I want to give another like hair update slash answer another question. So first I'll do the hair update. So this is where I am now. This is how far I've gotten. I hope it's showing. I think it showed. I hope so. But yeah, so that's where I am with my hair. And so like I've just been, working away at it. I'm gonna like do another line here, and then yeah, in a little bit I'll show you whatever is left and answer the question. So one question that I can answer right now is, I was thinking, so I've already like kind of like I've gone through like a progression. So I initially like told you about like how it was when I was applying to med school, and then in this video I've been talking about what I feel, how I feel during med school and how that transition has been. But I kind of focus more on academics, but there's definitely going to be like a personal aspect to it. Like I can't assume that everybody who would be transitioning from another profession would be older. I don't know what age everybody would be at. I know some people would have worked in their previous profession maybe a shorter amount of time. Maybe they even started that one, like that profession earlier. So I don't know what age everybody is, but a lot of the people that are in my program that are like pursuing this as like a second career, a lot of them are in like their 30s, maybe late 20s and 30s. So I fall into that category of being in my 30s. I'm in my early 30s. I'm 33. So when I started, I was 32. Stop saying my fillers. So yeah, I'm 33 now. I don't feel that way. I always say that. I think everybody thinks that as well. They're just like, they don't think that they're as old as their chronological age. I definitely claim like 27, maybe even 26. Like, yeah, some days. But no, I'm 33. And so with that, of course, there's certain things that I'm like thinking about while I'm in med school, like life wise. In terms of something like family planning, I'm currently like unattached completely, and I kind of like it that way at this time. I feel like it'd be really tough to go through medical school having a family or like thinking about like starting that. But there are people who are doing it. There are people in my program, maybe years above me, who like have like families and they're able to maintain, they're able to study at the same time, which is like amazing. Like I cannot fathom, just because me, like just thinking about how disorganized I get when I'm studying for like one of the mastery exercises. Like I can't imagine adding somebody else onto to that and what that would look like. So for me, I don't know. Like I'm not a person that I'm pretty neutral. Like I've seen this term online recently. Somebody else used it in their video. They're just like they're neutral in terms of marriage. Like they're neutral. Like if it happens, they're happy. That means that they found somebody that they really want to be with. But if it doesn't happen, then they're also probably going to be happy because it means they were enjoying whatever else was happening in their life. So I think that's where I am as well. Like I'm pretty happy with how everything's going on. Like I'm just happy to be where I am. The fact that I'm in med school, it was something that I was happy to be able to pursue. And I'm excited about the growth that I see in myself. And I'm excited about like the friendships that I'm making and the relationships that I'm able to maintain. So for me, I haven't thought about family planning, but it's still something that I think should be a conversation and something that you should be thinking about if you're going to be pursuing this a little bit later in life, just because you're going to be wanting to think about like finances. So whereas I'm just like, oh, like $100,000, yeah, I'll pay that back. Like I can even take out a little bit more and like, pay for my rent, da da da. Because I'm not thinking about I need to save and purchase a house for a family. So somebody who might be thinking about that, um, that's something that's going to be a little bit more pressing for them. So I don't know if I'm the best person to like comment on it, but like I can always comment, of course, on my own life and where I am and what I'm thinking at this time. So that is how I'm thinking at this time. But I would definitely love to hear from other mature students who are in med school pursuing this as a second degree or just doing this more mature. Um, what are they thinking in terms of their family planning, especially if they're women? Like there is a clock that we have, we know that. I'd be curious to understand where your thinking is on that, if it's a lot different from mine, especially. So, yeah, that's that. And then I will come back, and I think the last thing that I'll probably talk about is how I feel going into clerkship and into residency in a different role in the same environment. So I'll come back and talk about that. Okay, so hello, I am back, and let me just make sure my mic's on. Sometimes I'm scared that it's not recording. It only happened to me once because I only do one takes basically for everything. And the one time it happened to me, I was so sad. I'm like, I have to record 5 minutes again, and I don't want to say the same things over again. But yeah, anyways, I am getting tired. But as you can see, I'm really close to being done. Um, this is where I am now. So yeah, like I'm so close to being done. But because I don't know why, like I like to suffer myself. So this is not, once I'm done this, I'm not completely done. I wanted it to be faux locks. And the thing is, um, like the way I braided it, I didn't braid it in a way that it can be maintained for a long time. Like I braided it with the intention of going back and wrapping around with as faux locks. Now I'm just like looking back, why didn't I just braid it? Like why didn't I just do whatever? But yeah, so like you can kind of like, if I show you, you can see like my hair pieces like sticking out because I braided it, like I didn't braid it super neat on purpose. I'm just like, I don't care. I just want to do it quickly. Like I'm gonna wrap it anyways. But yeah, so I'm gonna go back around, and you've seen how I do my faux locks. These would probably be like a little bit thinner than the other ones that you saw. And then on top of that, I would like to cut this because this is just way too long for me. I'm not really one of those people that like super long hair. Yeah, even the last hairstyle that I did, I'm just like, that was like a little bit on the longer side. I would like this to be like maybe here max. Um, so like I'll go in and cut it and try to like layer it kind of. Um, yeah, so it's gonna be like another couple hours. I might come back, like do the whole like lock thing later on, and then just like retire after after the braiding part. Like I'm tired. Like I could even feel like for some reason my vocal cords, even though I'm not talking much, I feel tired. Um, but yeah, the last question I guess that I'll talk about or answer is how do I feel about going into clerkship, going into residency, knowing that I'm going to be basically going into an environment that I worked in, but having a different role. And so this is actually not something different for me. Again, I need to replace actually with something else. Somebody like find me another word. Like if you're tired of it too, like write another word in the comments. But so this is not something that is new for me. So when I before I was working as a nurse, I worked as a healthcare aide. at a long-term care home. And in that same in that same long-term care home, I ended up being a nurse, like a registered nurse there later on once I completed my course. So I remember that at that time too, I did kind of feel weird because I had been working there for about like maybe 2 years as a healthcare aide, like throughout like my nursing course. And so like I was kind of like I felt kind of nervous to go into the same environment in a different role because I was going to be not even just I was going to be an RPN, I was going to be a charge nurse all of a sudden from being a healthcare aide. And I was kind of like nervous about how that would work between me and my colleagues who have already worked together for like 2 years. How's that going to work now that I'm a registered nurse? And it honestly ended up being fine. Like everybody was super like welcoming, like in like at like with me as a nurse. It's not like people were just like, oh, like I'm not going to listen to you because like we've worked together. No, they were actually like super like friendly. Like everybody like really tried to help me out. Like especially like when we were short staffed, which was often like when we were short staffed, people would really try to like kick in for me because they had seen me working hard with them like previously. So I felt like, like everybody kind of just mutually just wanted the shift to go well. So that was a great experience. And I'm just hoping that that's kind of like a similar thing to what I'm going to experience like moving forward. Although it's a little bit different in the sense that it's not like I've worked with everybody that I'll be working with as a clerk and as a resident, but it'll be the same environment that people might have seen me there working as a nurse. Like there's a couple different hospitals that I worked at in Toronto as a nurse. So yeah, it'll still be interesting, but I don't think it'll be like a super weird experience. Yeah, I think that should be fine. I think the biggest adjustment for me is not necessarily going to be like, will the interactions be weird? I think for me, it's going to be the fact, and this happened to me too. This also did happen to me when I was working as a registered nurse versus as a healthcare aide. It's going to be difficult sometimes to tell somebody to do something seeing it from the having seen it from the other side. For instance, if I just don't think that like an order is fair to give to somebody, but I know that it's necessary, I might see it from the perspective that I've seen it before, where I'm just like, well, this is not an order that like makes sense. Like maybe I know for a fact this is going to make somebody shift harder, but I also know that maybe policy wise, this is something that should be done. Um, I think that sometimes can be a little bit difficult, and maybe like I remember when I worked as like a registered nurse, sometimes I would step in and like literally help because I'm just like, oh, like what I'm asking you to do is too much and I know how to do these things, so I'll help out. But I don't know if that will always that might not be possible or appropriate when I'm working as a clerk and as a resident. So I'm really gonna have to um, I don't know, like I don't know how that's gonna work. Like there's because I am thinking of certain orders where I'm just like, I didn't like getting these orders, and sometimes like you know, like you wouldn't necessarily do them like that, or you would kind of like fight back on them a little bit. Like how will I feel then being the one to give that order, if that makes sense? Um, but yeah, hopefully, I don't know, maybe like I'll figure out a way around that. I don't know yet, but that's the only thing that kind of like comes in my mind as something that might be a bit different transition wise, being in the exact same environment. But yeah, otherwise I'm excited. I'm excited for the learning. I'm excited for the learning curve. I'm excited to see how much I grow, everything like that. So yeah, I'm clearly like I'm getting tired, I'm getting exhausted. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish my hair. If there's anything else that anybody wants to know about my transition and you feel like I haven't answered it throughout these two videos, please leave a comment down below. I'm going to come back anyways and show you my finished product. So, but yeah, and if you have any questions about my hair too, if you're just like, if you were looking at me doing my hair and you're just like, oh, you didn't answer this during the tutorial, even though it was kind of like not really a tutorial, I could like go back and do like a real tutorial on how to like do these things. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this and you'll see me when I have my hair completely done. Bye. I'm finally on to the last one. Oh my goodness, it's been a long time. um, but yeah, like I said, because I like to suffer, after this, I'm gonna go around and wrap all of them. Although I'm gonna have to figure it out because I don't know if I want to do it tonight because I did want to go for a run tomorrow, and I don't want to be so tired that I can't go for that run. So yeah, I'll have to see. Let's just get this started. I'm braiding down the base. Oh, and I'll show you the products that I used and how much hair I ended up using to get it to this point. Okay. I should have shown you closely like how I attach and everything. But I feel like there are a lot of YouTube videos on that, but I was just trying to include it to make it a more interesting chit chat. It's actually nice. Like, I remember when my mom used to do my hair, like she'd always like trick us for the last one. She'd be like, oh no, like you have like 2 or 3 left. And then you'd be super excited when it was actually the last one. You can't do that when you do your own hair. But yeah, I think that like pick and drop like hairstyles are so cute. The only thing is, like I was saying, like I think it's also because my hair's so short. Like it was hard to like tuck it in, so I didn't want to take the effort to tuck it in. So here we have like the middle part, sorry. And then if I was gonna do more like a side part, you can see the back. Yeah, it's like really cute, but again, I prefer like locks just for how I think things are gonna go, especially because I'm active and everything. I just feel like it's not gonna last like this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. And also, I don't like how long it is. It just feels like too much. Like I feel like I have a small head, so sometimes if I have like bigger hair, I feel like it like makes my face look even smaller. So I'll like cut this like pretty short. Yeah, and hopefully that will look a little bit better for me. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and I will come back with the final look. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you like this one, have a look at my other chit chat videos, as well as my other videos on tips on getting into med school. Have a great day.